Hi, Frank. Good morning. Pleasure to have you take part in Hydrogen in 3. Obviously, I know you've been part of the clean tech and renewable sector for a number of years now, but just for the sake of the platform and the video, do you mind just give us an overview of who you are and what you do?
Yes, thanks, George. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, I'm more or less a one-trick pony in the sense that I've done only what we now call energy transition my entire career, which is, you're getting older, so it's more than 30 years now. And that started with wind and solar in the early 90s. And, the last couple of years, it's been more and more focus on clean hydrogen. And I joined Reliance Industries, the largest Indian company, last year, and I'm part of the new energy team. We're looking at solar, we're looking at hydrogen, we're looking at mobility, and we're looking at battery storage, and it's super exciting.
Fantastic. So that rolls into the first question I have, really. You've been in the sector now for 30 years, and there has been peaks, there's been troughs, but we're in a situation where I'd say for the past 12 to 24 months, there's been a lot of hype, especially regarding green hydrogen. What role do you see hydrogen playing in reaching our net zero targets?
Yeah, I think hydrogen is still being underestimated. I see a lot of the debate about, hydrogen, going into sort of like a competition with batteries or, very narrowly focused application considerations. And, there's concerns about, losses in the value chain and all of that. But I mean, if you look at it, if you take a couple of steps back, and then if you're looking at, what is a really decarbonized energy system of the future, I think the reality is that, the input will be renewable electricity, and that we've shown how to do that. We can do that very cost effectively. Solar and wind are now in most places on the planet the most cost effective the cheapest forms of electricity out there. And then, but the reality is also that 20% of our final energy is electricity and 80% are molecules. And the real question is, how are we going to get the carbon out of the molecules? Of course, we can replace some of the molecules with electricity, but most scenarios say that, when you, grow electricity, direct electrification to 50%, then you're sort of getting to the limits where it becomes more difficult and also more expensive. Then you still have the question: what are the 50% molecules that we now have that you're also going to need in the future, but they have to be clean. And obviously there's potential in biomass, but I think the largest chunk of that 50% will be hydrogen. And then that is actually a much bigger number than most scenarios predict. And as a person, but also as a company, we're way more bullish, I think, on hydrogen than many others.
Perfect. And that rolls into the next question I have, really. I know Reliance came out recently and mentioned they're investing 1 billion across the value chain. We are seeing a lot of investment, partnerships, different MOUs. But in your opinion, what challenges do you see that we face as a sector?
Well, first of all, let me correct you on the number. I mean, our chairman announced an additional 80 billion in Gujarat alone, and we're currently investing in a massive world-class scale solar facility, 20 gigawatts per annum. But then we're also dedicated 100 gigawatts of the 500 gigawatt national target to be ours. We're going to make hydrogen, we're going to make hydrogen trucks, we're going to make batteries, all of that in India. So that is the ambition. Now, the challenges are that this is a fundamental shift in sort of everything we do and the way we do it. I mean, the reality is that at the moment, energy is produced in very concentrated locations, power plants, now renewables, even though they're cheaper going forward. We still need to build them, and we still need the land and the location, and that is going to be different. So, you'll have a coal-fired power plant or a nuclear power plant right now at a convenient location for that. Typically, coal is where you have the coal. Nuclear is a little bit more flexible, but you do it next to a river. and the entire infrastructure is also geared to that. Now, in the future, we'll have massive amounts of solar and wind in other places. So we also need to build the grids, to get that energy to where you need it, etc. And this is a massive, massive undertaking. First of all, the scale of the investment is huge and to some extent unprecedented, but it's also going to be challenging to make all that work from a practical perspective. So we know that it's cost effective, we know that we need to do it, but to get there is just going to be a lot of work.
No, definitely. And the last question that I do have more focused on Reliance, and I know you've touched on it throughout the conversation, but what role will Reliance play in developing the value chain across the hydrogen sector?
It's a number of things. So Reliance is the largest, private Indian company. We are leading in the energy space in India, but we're also the largest retailer or the largest internet services provider. And we have the ambition to replicate that in the new energy space. So we're very ambitious. We've shown the ability to build world-class scale facilities in record time and on budget and all of those things, and actually be meaningful in the market. I mean, it's not just about a new market segment where we want to be profitable. Of course, we need to be profitable, but it's also providing services to Indian clients, and that's 1.4 billion people that we hope to also increase the quality of life. And part of that is by making these technologies and making the new energy at scale, producing that at scale and way more cost effectively than currently done. That is one element of what we've proven to do and be able to do. We're going to replicate that in the new energy space. Now, the other component is that we're a very India-focused company right now, but we do have the ambition to also spread our wings across the globe. Because in the end, if you can be meaningful to the lives of Indian people, why can't we be meaningful to the lives of the globe as such? And being in the driver's seat, in the energy transition, on a global scale is truly an ambition that we have, and I think we can fulfill.
Fantastic. Well, absolute pleasure to have you take part, Frank. It's great to get the insight from yourself and the plans for Reliance. It does sound like super exciting times for the business, and myself and Boss Energy, we do wish you all the best for the remainder of 2022.
Thank you, George. Thank you.